When an employer asks an employee to obtain a license that was not originally required for the position, the situation presents an opportunity for negotiation regarding compensation. While there's no legal obligation for the employer to pay for the use of the license, it's reasonable to discuss potential additional compensation. Factors to consider during the negotiation include the value the license brings to the organization, industry standards for similar roles, and the employee's experience and skills in obtaining the license. To determine the value of the license, 1. Calculate the cost savings the organization will realize by not hiring an outside contractor to pull permits. This involves estimating the cost of permits, inspections, and related fees. 2. Consider negotiating a percentage of these cost savings as compensation. For instance, proposing to receive 10 to 20% of the annual savings could be a starting point. 3. Another option is to negotiate a fixed rate for the use of the license, taking into account the employee's skills, experience, and the overall value of the license to the organization. When negotiating with the employer, firstly, prepare your case by gathering data and information to support the request for compensation. Secondly, schedule a meeting with a supervisor or human resources representative to present your proposal in a respectful and professional manner. Thirdly, clearly explain the benefits and cost savings the organization will gain from having the employee's license available. Fourthly, be prepared to compromise on the initial proposal to reach a mutually agreeable arrangement. Whether or not other organizations compensate employees for license use varies. It is important to research industry standards and negotiate based on the specific circumstances. To further elaborate on calculating the cost savings, you need to carefully assess all expenses the organization would incur if it were to hire an external contractor for permit pulling and related electrical tasks. This includes not only the contractor's fees but also any administrative overhead, potential delays, and communication challenges that might arise from outsourcing this work. For instance, if the average cost of hiring a contractor for each permit is $500 and the organization typically requires 20 permits per year, the annual cost savings would amount to $10,000. This figure provides a concrete basis for negotiating a percentage-based compensation. When considering a percentage of savings, it is vital to understand that the percentage you propose should be reasonable and justifiable. Factors influencing the percentage include the scope of work covered by the license, the frequency with which it will be used, and the overall impact on the organization's efficiency and profitability. A higher percentage might be warranted if the license is critical for time-sensitive projects or if it significantly reduces the risk of errors and delays. Presenting data that demonstrates how the license enhances the organization's capabilities can strengthen your negotiation position. Alternatively, setting a fixed rate for the use of your license offers predictability and stability for both the employee and the employer. To determine an appropriate fixed rate, consider the prevailing market rates for similar services in the area, the complexity of the tasks involved, and the level of responsibility associated with the license. Researching what other licensed electricians charge for consulting or permit pulling services can provide valuable benchmarks for establishing a fair rate. This rate could be structured as a monthly stipend, a per-project fee, or an hourly rate, depending on the nature of the work and the organization's preferences. During the negotiation process, be prepared to articulate the value of your experience and skills in obtaining the license. Highlight any specialized training, certifications, or years of experience that make you uniquely qualified to handle the responsibilities associated with the license. Emphasize your commitment to maintaining the license in good standing and adhering to all relevant regulations and codes. Demonstrating a proactive approach to professional development can instill confidence in your employer and reinforce the value of your contribution. When presenting your case to your supervisor or human resources representative, maintain a calm, respectful, and professional demeanor. Avoid making demands or ultimatums, and instead focus on presenting a well-reasoned proposal that benefits both parties. Use clear and concise language to explain your rationale, and be prepared to answer any questions or address any concerns they may have. Listening attentively to their perspective and demonstrating a willingness to collaborate can foster a more constructive dialogue and increase the likelihood of reaching a mutually satisfactory agreement. Remember that negotiation is a two-way street, and compromise is often necessary to achieve a positive outcome. Be open to considering alternative compensation models or adjusting your initial proposal to align with the organization's budget and priorities. For example, you might be willing to accept a lower percentage of savings in exchange for additional benefits such as professional development opportunities, increased vacation time, or a more flexible work schedule. Flexibility and a willingness to find common ground can go a long way in building a strong and mutually beneficial working relationship. Furthermore, research industry standards to understand whether similar organizations compensate employees for the use of their licenses. Professional associations, industry publications, and online forums can provide valuable insights into prevailing compensation practices in your field. Contacting colleagues at other non-profit organizations or consulting with industry experts can also help you gather information and assess the fairness of your compensation proposal. If you discover that other organizations routinely provide compensation for license use, this information can strengthen your negotiating position and provide additional leverage in your discussions with your employer. It is essential to document all agreements and understandings in writing to avoid misunderstandings or disputes in the future. Once you and your employer have reached an agreement on compensation for the use of your license, create a formal written contract or addendum to your employment agreement that outlines the terms of the agreement. This document should specify the amount of compensation, the frequency of payment, the duration of the agreement, and any other relevant details. Having a written record of the agreement can provide clarity and protection for both parties and ensure that the terms are honored. In addition to direct financial compensation, consider negotiating other forms of recognition or benefits that may be valuable to you. This could include opportunities to attend industry conferences or training programs, reimbursement for continuing education expenses, or increased visibility within the organization. Non-monetary benefits can enhance your professional development, boost your morale, and demonstrate that your employer values your contributions beyond just your license. They can also be a creative way to address compensation concerns when budget constraints limit the possibility of direct salary increases. Before initiating the negotiation process, take the time to assess your own needs and priorities. Consider what is most important to you in terms of compensation, recognition, and professional growth. Having a clear understanding of your goals can help you stay focused during the negotiation and make informed decisions about which proposals to accept or reject. It can also empower you to communicate your needs effectively and advocate for a fair and equitable outcome. Remember that the negotiation process is not just about money, it is about establishing a mutually respectful and collaborative working relationship with your employer. By approaching the negotiation with a positive attitude, a willingness to compromise, and a focus on creating value for both parties, you can increase the likelihood of reaching an agreement that benefits everyone involved. Furthermore, it's beneficial to understand the legal framework surrounding professional licenses in your state. While employers may not be legally obligated to pay for the use of a license, there may be regulations regarding liability, responsibility, and the scope of practice associated with the license. Familiarizing yourself with these regulations can help you protect your interests and ensure that you are operating within the bounds of the law. Consulting with an attorney or professional advisor can provide additional guidance and support in navigating the legal aspects of your situation. Consider the long-term implications of your decision to allow your employer to use your license. While the immediate financial benefits may be appealing, it's important to assess the potential risks and responsibilities associated with the arrangement. Make sure you have a clear understanding of your obligations under the license, and take steps to protect yourself from liability in case of errors, accidents, or violations. This may involve obtaining additional insurance coverage or consulting with a risk management professional. Remember that your license is a valuable asset, and you should treat it with care and diligence. Be aware of any ethical considerations that may arise from allowing your employer to use your license. Professional codes of ethics often emphasize the importance of integrity, objectivity, and competence. Make sure that your arrangement with your employer does not compromise your ethical obligations or create conflicts of interest. If you have any concerns about the ethical implications of the situation, seek guidance from a professional ethics board or trusted advisor. It is important to periodically review the terms of your agreement with your employer to ensure that they continue to meet your needs and reflect the current market conditions. As your skills and experience grow, or as the organization's reliance on your license increases, it may be appropriate to renegotiate the compensation arrangement. Regular communication and a willingness to adapt to changing circumstances can help maintain a fair and equitable relationship over time. Remember that you have the right to refuse to allow your employer to use your license if you are not comfortable with the terms of the arrangement. If you feel that your employer is not being fair or respectful, or if you have concerns about the safety or legality of the work being performed under your license, you should not hesitate to decline the request. Your professional integrity and your personal well-being should always be your top priorities. In addition, before agreeing to allow your license to be used, consider the potential impact on your future career prospects. If you plan to eventually move to a different organization or start your own business, having a track record of successfully managing your license can be a valuable asset. However, if your current arrangement with your employer restricts your ability to pursue other opportunities or limits your professional growth, it may be worth reconsidering the terms of the agreement. It is essential to weigh the potential benefits and drawbacks carefully before making a decision. Moreover, it's helpful to create a detailed job description that clearly outlines your responsibilities and the scope of work covered by your license. This can help prevent misunderstandings or scope creep, where you are asked to perform tasks that are beyond your expertise or outside the boundaries of your license. A well-defined job description can also serve as a basis for evaluating your performance and justifying your compensation. Review and update your job description regularly to ensure that it accurately reflects your current duties and responsibilities. Seek advice from mentors or experienced professionals in your field. They can offer valuable insights and guidance based on their own experiences and can help you navigate the complexities of the negotiation process. Mentors can also provide support and encouragement, helping you stay confident and focused on your goals. Building a strong network of professional contacts can be invaluable throughout your career. Stay informed about industry trends, best practices, and regulatory changes. Subscribe to industry publications, attend conferences and workshops, and participate in online forums to stay up to date on the latest developments in your field. This will not only enhance your professional knowledge but also demonstrate your commitment to continuous learning and improvement, making you a more valuable asset to your employer. Ensure that your employer has adequate insurance coverage to protect you from liability in case of accidents, errors, or omissions. Review the terms of the insurance policy carefully to understand the coverage limits, exclusions, and deductibles. If necessary, consider obtaining additional personal liability insurance to supplement your employer's coverage. Protecting yourself from potential financial risks is essential when allowing your license to be used. Document all work performed under your license, including dates, locations, descriptions of tasks, and any relevant observations or findings. Maintain accurate records of all inspections, tests, and certifications. This documentation can be invaluable in case of disputes, investigations, or legal proceedings. Keeping detailed records demonstrates your professionalism and provides evidence of your adherence to industry standards and regulations. Establish clear communication channels with your employer to address any concerns or questions that may arise. Schedule regular meetings to discuss ongoing projects, potential challenges, and any necessary adjustments to the work plan. Open and honest communication can help prevent misunderstandings, resolve conflicts, and maintain a positive working relationship. It is important to foster a culture of trust and transparency with your employer. Consider the tax implications of receiving compensation for the use of your license. Consult with a tax advisor to understand how this income will be taxed and whether you need to make any adjustments to your tax withholdings or estimated tax payments. Proper tax planning can help you avoid surprises and ensure that you are complying with all applicable tax laws. It is always wise to seek professional advice when dealing with complex financial matters. Be aware of any potential conflicts of interest that may arise from allowing your license to be used. If you have personal relationships or financial interests that could influence your judgment or compromise your objectivity, disclose these conflicts to your employer and take steps to mitigate their impact. Transparency and integrity are essential for maintaining trust and avoiding ethical breaches. Strive to maintain a healthy work-life balance. While it is important to be dedicated to your job and committed to your responsibilities, it is equally important to prioritize your personal well-being. Set boundaries to protect your time and energy, and make sure to take breaks, exercise, and engage in activities that you enjoy. A healthy work-life balance can help you avoid burnout, reduce stress, and maintain your overall health and happiness.